say thanks to Shawnee. I met Shawnee actually at my rally. I didn't even know he was running for anything. And it was just a blessing to see him there on ground with me, like just fighting for the very thing I was fighting for. So thank you, Shawnee, for that, for just being normal. So my name is Peggy Herrera, and I am the proud mother of a young man who has lots of promise and potential, but he also struggles with mental health concerns. I have seen over and over again the ways that our inadequate mental health system has failed our family, and where law enforcement has stepped in to do a job they should not be doing. So on August 25th, my son was experiencing a mental health crisis, and I called for 911 to ask for medical attention. Police officers arrived first, and then EMS arrived. I know the tragic stories of parents who have called for help for their sons during times of crisis, only to have NYPD show up and murder their sons. I have learned from those tragedies and those mothers organizing, so I refuse to let the police enter the house. Thankfully, my son was actually calm by the time they arrived, but police insisted that they still needed to take my son in. My son heard me pleading with the police outside, and as they pinned me to the ground and arrested me. He opened the door. The police then grabbed my son by the neck and dragged him out of the apartment. Sadly, my son never received the help he needed. And so on March 5th, I'll be back at court fighting this case. On that day, my son needed a social worker, not uniformed officers with guns. On that day, we needed to remove stigma and utilize compassion. The unnecessary use of physical force and the pursuit of criminal charges is an assault on my integrity and my humanity. I will not stand for it. That night, there was no courtesy, no professionalism, and no respect. Now I'm charged with a crime that I am not guilty of. It's absurd that someone be criminalized for seeking help for a loved one. We need health professionals, not police officers, as first responders to people experiencing emotional distress. These health professionals must not be in uniforms that look like police, and they must not be armed. We need investments in preventative, community-based mental health resources, the kind that could have been offered to my son the first time he displayed behaviors rooted in mental health needs. Instead of offering resources to the young people in my neighborhood, the city offers over-policing. Hiring 500 MTA officers will not help. It is criminalizing poverty. Police should not and cannot respond to mental health crisis. My family and families like mine all over the city, we deserve to be able to call for help and actually get it. Right now, we don't have that option. Mothers like me are left to fend for themselves. When my son has a mental health crisis now, I go out and sleep in my car. Because I have learned that calling 911 is absolutely not an option. We must do better. I support Shawnee because he supports the things that matter in our communities. We need someone who believes that housing is a human right. It is not a privilege. We need criminal justice reform. We need to improve and expand health care. We need to cancel college debt. We need to build a simple and welcoming path to citizenship, including the abolishment of ICE. So I ask you to vote Shawnee. We need people who support our values in our communities, in our neighborhood. And I appreciate everyone for taking time to listen to my story.